Hey, good morning. It's Kristen Leong.
And Diana Opong. It's Monday. This is Seattle Now.
Looking for some peace and quiet away from city life? Today we'll meet a Washingtonian who's made it his mission to preserve the sounds of nature and to teach us all how to listen. But first, let's get you caught up.
You can expect the mask mandates and vaccination requirements to keep coming. The state's public schools chief said Friday that all students, staff, and visitors will have to mask up when school starts this fall. And this afternoon, Governor Inslee is set to visit Seattle to talk about another push to reach unvaccinated Washingtonians. Meanwhile, Amazon is hoping $2 million in prizes will convince its warehouse and hourly workers to get a shot. The company hasn't required a vaccine like other employers have, but will instead try to reach them through the Max Your Vax contest.
We won't be setting any more heat records, but we could see more dangerously high temperatures this week. The National Weather Service says 90-degree weather is on its way, Thursday through the weekend. We should get a little more of a break at night this time, though, with temps in the 60s. But, just like last time, if you don't have a way to keep cool, this is your notice. Drink plenty of water, find that AC, and check on your neighbors.
And Sue Bird, Jewel Lloyd, and Brianna Stewart helped close out the Tokyo Olympics in a big way over the weekend. The Storm Trio kicked in 24 combined points to help Team USA beat Japan 90-75 and clinch a 7th straight gold medal in women's basketball. The U.S. women have won a ridiculous 55 games in a row now. The last time they lost was in Barcelona in 1992. It's the 5th gold medal for Bird, who says this Olympics will be her last.
Noise pollution. We can do a pretty good job of tuning it out, but it is all around us. And that's not good for our health. Aside from keeping you up at night, continual noise sets off the body's stress response, which raises blood pressure and heart rate. One study even ranked noise pollution as the second biggest threat to public health, behind air pollution.
So where can you find a moment of peace and quiet? Gordon Hempton has found the answer for you. He's an audio engineer obsessed with recording the sounds of nature without human interference. Our friends over at the Wild podcast told the story of his effort to preserve 1 square inch of silence in Washington's Olympic rainforest. Here's Chris Morgan.
Gordon calls himself the sound tracker because he's made a career out of recording the sounds of nature. For 4 decades, he searched out the quietest locations on Earth to record them without any noise pollution. And in the world we live in today, finding a place without human-made noise, that takes a lot of persistence.
Today it would take 4 or 5 weeks of search right now to locate a new quiet place to record, of which, if done correctly, it would then take maybe 3 or 4 days to record. And after those 3 to 4 days of recording, if I came out with 15 minutes of pure nature, that would be a gold mine.
That's a pack of coyotes, one of Gordon's favorite recordings. Film productions and even video game companies then buy recordings from Gordon. That's the practical side of his life. We've all got to pay the bills. And he's become an advocate for quiet places.
You know, it was a job made for me and I was made for it, except for the fact that I've been losing my hearing pretty steadily.
And how has that felt?
Just give me a moment. Complicated. It's hard to breathe. Because there's so much history, not only in just the shock of losing my hearing, but all the changes of life. But also, Chris, there's immense love and gratitude. because I would probably still be working alone today if I didn't lose my hearing.
It amazes me how people can see a silver lining sometimes. This silver lining came in the form of a tall, energetic 24-year-old named Matt Mickelson. Matt was an audio engineering student in upstate New York when a friend told him about Gordon's work, and he was instantly curious, so Matt decided to send Gordon an email.
And I said, "Hey, what you do sounds really cool. I'd love to hear more about it." And he responded.
Gordon went out on a limb and invited Matt out to Washington State to meet. And now they've been working together for 6 years as partners in this work. Matt has long hair and a beard. They give him kind of a Viking look. It's easy to see how Gordon fell for his energy. But it goes way beyond that. Gordon refers to Matt as his hearing aid. Matt can hear a lot of the high-frequency sounds that Gordon can't anymore.
What did you say a few weeks ago? You said that you're hearing impaired and I'm listening impaired.
Exactly.
And so together we make a really great team.
No, together we make a whole person, Matt.
Yes, a whole person. Okay, yes. Not a good team. Just one person.
A beautiful pairing, I gotta say. It's just, and in person it's lovely to see. There's such great energy. Matt is going to be my guide for the next few days on my trip into the wilderness. My guide to find silence. We're headed to a place Gordon named 1 Square Inch of Silence. It's in the KUOW rainforest in Olympic National Park in western Washington State, a place where sea meets mountains meets forest. But before we leave the town of Port Townsend, Gordon has some parting words. He tells me that I can learn things from the silence.
Silence definitely is the think tank of the soul. It takes us to a very deep place in our lives, but now we don't need to answer silence. We can just be with silence. Spend some time with silence and you can carry on a conversation with it.
Great. So here we are at the entrance to the KUOW River Trail. Birds are just waking up.
What time is it now? 6:16 a.m.
Yep.
Just starting to come alive in this last 5-6 minutes.
Yep.
I can't wait to get in there. We head off down the trail, and the birdsong just comes alive. The KUOW rainforest is an otherworldly place. But even this deep in the forest, we still aren't clear of human-made noise. Underneath the singing birds and drizzle of rain, we can still hear a hum coming from the visitor center half a mile away.
So we're out of sight of the visitor center, but you can still hear that hum if you listen. Very faintly. So that'll kind of gauge our distance from the last noise pollution that enters this place that's kind of permanently here. So let's get away from it.
As the birds sing over the hum of the human noise behind us, it makes me think about the impact that noise must have on them and all wildlife. As we walk down the trail, we hear something.
Oh, did you hear that?
Was it spruce grouse?
Yeah, I think so.
Grouse have a very low, deep call. That low human hum from the visitor center probably affects the spruce grouse more than any other bird we've heard. Every bird species communicates on its own frequency. Think about it like tuning your radio into a particular station. Different bird species have different frequencies, so they don't have to compete for the airwaves to be heard.
So for species like the grouse, it's really advantageous for them because none of the other birds want to be singing that low. So the grouse just has all that clear room, but that's also why the grouse is so subject to, issues from noise pollution.
So that hum from the visitor center can really cause bit of a headache for the grouse. With the birds as our soundtrack, we push deeper into silent country. We come around a slow bend in the trail, and Matt stops and kind of gestures at something with this proud smile. In front of us, about 20 yards away, is a big tree whose trunk makes a hole like a big pair of bow legs. Wow.
Yeah.
What an entryway.
It really is.
Where do you go in?
Where do you think you go?
Through that? No.
It's like too good to be true.
Oh my God, that is magic.
Yeah.
He points to the hole in the tree. This is the entrance. The entrance to 1 square inch of silence.
First, I think it's worth acknowledging that we're on the ancestral land of the Ho tribe. And they've used this area for as long as we have record of, to gather and to hunt, to fish salmon. And they've been amazing stewards of the land.
Before we step through the magic portal, Matt tells us the most important rule. No talking.
And feel free to do like whatever feels good. If you want to lay down, close your eyes. If you want to sit on a log, if you want to stand, whatever you feel like doing. Obviously, we should make sure our cell phones are silenced. We don't have like beeping stuff.
We take off our packs and Matt steps through the tree. I follow behind him, big smile on my face. I can't quite believe I've been sucked into this. I feel like a giddy 8-year-old stepping into Narnia. I come out the other side of the tree and step carefully around twigs and branches so I don't make a noise. And 2 or 3 minutes later, we arrive. Silence. I settle in, sitting on the moss where I can lean against a huge old tree that's lying on the ground. It looks like it's been there 1,000 years. I'm completely in the mode now. I clear my mind and I pretend that I'm here in this very spot 10,000 years ago. And I'm gone. For the next hour, I tune into every living sound. I walk back to the trail. Makes me really aware that I'm now on a return journey, leaving this silent place that nature has preserved. And it seemed right to leave it to the birds and other wildlife.
And I think like we as humans evolved to be in quiet and in nature, and, you know, being in a place like this, like, to me it feels like home, you know. I get the same feeling when like I return home and like hug my mom and dad, or it's like just that total, just that total contentness, you know, like nothing is really wrong in a way, you know, or the things that are wrong they're okay, they're solvable. Everything is okay.
Everything is okay. Nature's way of reminding us that maybe silence is the think tank of the soul.
Thanks for listening today. Get more Seattle Now on Instagram. You can follow us at Seattle Now Pod. Oh, and we're working on an episode all about travel. We want to hear your travel troubles. From overpriced flights to sold-out Airbnbs, tell us all about it. You can leave us a message at 206-616-6746. Or you can email us a voice memo. Our address is seattlenow@kuow.org.
Matt Martin produced today's show. Our production team is Claire McGrain, Jenny Cecil-Moore, Caroline Chamberlain-Gomez, and Jason Pagano. Matt Jorgensen does our theme music. I'm Diana Opon.
I'm Kristen Leong. See you tomorrow.